not all together, but we do have 3 kids, and 7, 19, and 20. Tim and I have been together for over 10 years now, married for almost 9. Our 9-year anniversary is coming up in August. And yeah.
Yeah, pretty excited about it. Almost 10 years. It's great.
Yeah. I used to be in construction. I got out of it because of an accident. I injured my wrist and I couldn't do it full time anymore. I'm a painter and taper by trade. So actually I went back to school and got my administrative assistant diploma so that I could do something that wasn't so physically demanding. You can tell them what to do.
Yeah, so my name's Tim, this is Tina. Just to get that out, we kind of missed that part of the beginning there. But I'm a carpenter by trade. I've been doing it for about 25 years. And I'm just really excited to be here, Jen. I'm happy that you have us on. Totally.
Yeah, I've been a carpet installer for 30 years. And, the only time I really do too much thinking about the carpenters and that is when I'm installing the stairs. And at the bottom of the stairs, it's at 36 inches. At the top of the stairs, it's at 35 and a quarter.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn carpenters.
That wasn't me.
Yeah.
That's the other guy.
Framers that caused that issue. But
yeah, for sure.
We carpet guys, we can work some magic, just like.
Yeah, I've seen you guys do. I've seen it. Awesome.
So my first question always to everybody, because this is always the thing that I'm curious about with everybody, is number one, how did you find out about Kong? Why did you decide that it was a wise choice? And how long have you been involved? And then last but not least, in this particular part of the deal is, were you a skeptic like me? Because I was an incredible skeptic. I thought it was the dumbest dang thing on the planet. I couldn't believe that my brother Tim McGaffin was posting all this nonsense about water for crying out loud. Gee, Merry Christmas, right? And so what's your story in that regard?
Well, I came across it. It was actually me first. I came across an ad on Facebook, I think like most of us do. And it was actually like my now mentor, Jen. It was somebody that was below her, I guess you could say. And it just kind of intrigued me because at the time this was like a couple years back. At the time, I knew that eventually I was going to lose my job. I knew it was coming. It was still a little ways out, but I knew it was coming and I was worried. And I thought, with the economy, how it was, I was thinking there's got to be something else. There has to be some other way to give security financially to, my family. So I'm not worrying about that situation anymore. So I kind of was intrigued. I went to the webinar and I wasn't right away, believing in it at all. I was like, I don't know. I'm not sure about this, right? Because I think we all are taught to be skeptical about things and be cautious, right? Do your due diligence, maybe research into it a little bit more. Fast forward, I guess, because that was when it was like the infinite freedom. I don't know if you were involved in that, like before it became, because we're part of the GAZ group right now. Okay. And I became involved with the Infinite Freedom group first. And then I kind of went off for a little while and didn't do anything. And then I've come back. So, and now I think I wasn't ready at the time, because I think I really believe you have to be ready for this. If you're not ready to make the changes you need to make this work, you're not ready, right? My husband wasn't ready for sure. I did see the potential. I knew something was there. Something was telling me, there's something with this, right? There's something about it. And I wasn't 100%, like I wasn't giving up on it at all. So now we're definitely ready. My husband's in on it 100% now. Yeah. Something switched, like a switch.
So what happened was Tina brought this, yeah, totally. Just a mindset shift of unbelievable awesomeness, really.
Yeah.
So what happened was, as New Year's came, and I've been miserable for quite a few years and in a low vibrational state of being. And then I finally just decided that I was going to quit smoking. I've had enough. The New Year came, the smokes went up in price just slightly, but enough that I think something went, you've had enough of this. So I bought the patch, bought the spray, bought all that stuff, got ready for the big quit, then started the patch, started the spray, quit for about 5 days, and then skipped the patch. Put the patch on again just to try to stretch the patch out. The spray was disgusting, like absolutely atrocious. So I did that as little as possible, which was good because it was nasty. And so then by the end of it, I had 2 weeks of patches, 2 of these things of sprays. And 9 days later, I was off the patch, didn't use the sprays, gave my patches to my brother-in-law and the sprays to my brother-in-law. And I've had 4 smokes since, and that's been, 1/4 of the year, which is outstanding for a guy who's been smoking for 26 years. So as soon as all those chemicals left my body, I turned into a different person. I became who I really am, and I stopped being this diluted, chemically entranced individual, which is what I was. I was a complete zombie to tobacco. Mm-hmm. And as soon as that cleared, I went, these guys are doing something, because I see the posts that Jen's doing. I see these guys going around and they're succeeding. They're making something of it. And then I get into the realization, and I have the epiphany in my head, like we've got this machine here that I had no idea that true potential of it, because my wife had picked it up. I thought, okay, clean water, good for it, blah, blah, blah. But then all of a sudden, I come back to it with more of a clear vision and a sense of clarity in my head. And I go, this thing has the potential to change people's lives in a myriad of ways, like to the point where, what am I doing here? Why am I not sharing this with everybody that I know and for everybody out there? So it clicked, and I went, well, let's start this. Let's get this going. And so now we're here, and I just this weekend had my first Lex campaign, got it out, got approved. Yeah. And it's a great thing, man. And I just boosted my post. I got approved, so that's getting boosted. I've got 64 people liking my page, and I'm excited to teach them all about this new stuff. So it's a new avenue. It's a new thing. I'm totally out of my comfort zone, and I'm totally excited about it. It's great.
That's so awesome. So Tina, you saw this first, and you went out there and you picked up that flight suit, jumped in it, and just jumped off the cliff, baby. But down with gravity coming in hot, right? And so when you brought home your Kangen water machine, what was the deal, Tim? Was it like, you spent $5,000 on what?
No.
What was the?
No.
What happened between the two of you when that kind of thing happened? And
well, what happened was she got laid off from her job. So he had the severance package, right? And she's like, this thing, and there's this thing. I'm like, okay, there's this thing. I have faith in you. I love you. Let's try this out. And that's what it came down to. I didn't fight with her. I didn't argue with her. I didn't do anything of any kind of negativity. I just on blind faith was like, okay, you go ahead. Inside, I was like, oh my God, they're blowing all our money on this shit. Right? Right? That's what was going on. But I had faith in her, and I was like, okay, I'm going to let her do this. And I'm going to see where this goes and see what happens. Yeah. Right? Which is, maybe that's the intuition inside of me, which it is, of course, right? The universal consciousness saying, okay, this is how it's going to play out. And it's playing out very well so far, finally. Yeah. And so, we went with it.
That's so cool to hear, because my theory is, happy wife, happy life. It's like, you don't argue with your wife. You just let her do whatever she wants to do.
Exactly.
Unless she's doing something totally insane, which, I know there's a lot of husbands out there who their wife, puts on the flight suit, jumps off the cliff, makes it happen. And then, the husband, because he won't have an open mind, won't even pay any attention. If he does do any research, it's on Google, and it's a scam, and so
I felt that.
Yeah,
I did. I did feel that. I felt that maybe this is scammy, but I still said, well, let's just see where it goes. And if we blow all of our money, then that's fine. I'll just keep working for another 20 years. And blah, blah, blah.
That's only
We
money.
just keep going. I know, and we've struggled through lots in our short relationship as it is, right? So to struggle a little bit more is like, yeah, just a little more icing on the cake. So it's no big deal. We just keep going.
Yeah.
You know,
We always figure it out.
struggle is struggle. It makes you stronger.
Exactly.
That's what teamwork's all about, kids.
Exactly.
And, Shiloh's on here, and she says, "Hey guys, I was also with Infinite Freedom first too."
Cool.
He says, "Yay, great job."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really exciting. And so you got your Kangen water machine, and how long did it take you, Tim, before you? Because like when you got your machine. Because Tina, you went and you got the machine. You brought the machine home. You jumped off the cliff first, and you brought it home and hooked it up. Started using. Did you start using it right from the start, Tim? Because I'm sure
I set it up right away. It was a frustrator, and it was a learning curve to set it up for sure. But I got it going, and yeah, I used it right away. But I didn't use it to its full potential. I used the 9.5, and I used the 6, and not the 6. I used the 9.5 and the 8. The 8.5 for my coffee and for just drinking. But I didn't use the antibacterial properties of it or the beauty water or any of that stuff. We barely even cracked the surface on any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Like we still have to kind of, utilize it in that respect. Yeah, we totally are as far as what the system can really do.
Yeah.
So we're still kind of newbies, right? We're still new to this, and we're still trying to figure out the nuances of how the whole system works, right? Which looks really promising.
Yeah, it's definitely... I always tell people it's a heck of a lot more than just drinking water.
Yeah.
It's a heck of a lot more than just a water filter. And
that's what I thought. I thought, oh, okay, it's a cool water filtration system.
Yeah, but no, it's so much more.
Right? That's how you think.
You guys are going to go places. You guys are going to make an awesome team, and
I hope so.
I'm excited that you're part of the family.
I'm ready to play at this. Because I love people and I want everyone to succeed.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing
myself
is,
included.
Yeah, we want to make ourselves better, but we want to help others too do the same thing, and to have that freedom. Like, I want to be able to take the summers and go travel with my kids and my husband and experience new things and not be afraid to, like, I'm terrified of flying. So that's a fear that I need to try to overcome. I'm absolutely terrified of it.
Just trank her.
Yeah, we need to trank me, and then I want to wake up in the destination.
Yeah, I'll carry you. Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Get one of those strap things for the back.
Yeah.
So the analogy of putting on your flight suit and jumping off the cliff has to be kind of interesting, huh?
Yeah, no, I will never willingly jump out of a plane.
Hey, you say never. You never say never, honey.
That's true. Yeah.
Being involved with the Kong family, you are going to be so blown away at how your mind and your body and your whole universe expands just from you making this one decision. And I always love to call it the proverbial bought myself a flight suit and jumped off El Capitan, I have a buddy who actually did that. He jumped off of El Capitan back when they would let people do it. And, he was telling me the story about it. And, that's kind of what I think about whenever I do any kind of new business enterprise. And I've been involved with networking and entrepreneurship most all of my life. And so I've jumped off lots of cliffs. I've put on lots of different flight suits and had a lot of fun with them. And some of them have worked out, others not. But this one right here, this is definitely the one. This is the place. This is the magic that we have to share with the world. And so how long has it been that since you got the machine and started utilizing it?
It hasn't even been quite a year yet, actually. When did we get that machine? It was like
just before Christmas.
It was a while before Christmas. I think it was like November-ish, October, I think, of last year. I mean, I knew of the machines, and I was really wanting one really bad for a while. and finally, things aligned, I guess, properly for me to get one. So, yeah, it's been not even a year yet.
Awesome.
But I knew of this community and like with this, the community that we're involved in and the group and the people that we're involved in, I feel like this is where I belong. I actually feel like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Yes, and I think you're right.
Yeah.
I hope so. I think so.
So, you've been drinking the water for 6 months or so, something like that, 6-7 months. What kind of stories do you have to tell as far as your own personal experience from, what your machine? Because when I say your machine, I'm talking about this thing right here.
Okay.
This thing right here is the most incredible machine that the universe has ever built. That God gave us this incredible machine that runs on 120 millivolts of electricity and hydrogen, and it's designed to fix itself. What kind of things has your machine done since you started giving it the electricity and the hydrogen that it needed to run properly?
Well, with me, I've always had some pretty decent stomach problems. Like my stomach is always hurting me. It became normal for my stomach to always be bothering me. I find with the water, I don't get that nearly as much anymore. Like, I mean, it was a constant. It was like, I've normalized the pain.
Sleeping, sitting up.
Sitting up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that was a huge thing for me. Like now it's once in a while I'll eat something or something, we all go out and splurge a little bit sometimes. You eat something that's like, oh, I shouldn't have eaten that. But other than that, like the water, like I drink more water now, and I always have a water bottle with me all the time. So like having this machine makes me even more, like I bring water with me to work. I don't drink the water, their filtered water at work. I bring water from home.
It tastes different.
Yeah.
It does.
You can totally taste the difference. And
yeah.
you can even like feel the difference as far as the oxygenation of it and just the kind of an energizing effect of 9.5 for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And I find like, I mean, I've always had pretty clear skin. I didn't really have a lot of breakouts as a teenager, but like even now, like,
That's early for sure.
Yeah, I find my skin is better. My skin's much better. My nails, my hair shiny, that kind of stuff.
Very pretty.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, you notice things, my biggest thing is my stomach issues.
Awesome.
That's the biggest thing.
How about you, Tim? You had any, did you ever have any kind of issues before that, your machine was able to fix since you started giving it the water?
Some of my aches and pains are a little bit more subsiding for sure since I've been in construction for so long. Mm-hmm. And just the 9.5 is just really invigorating and just, it tastes real good.
Yeah, it's a huge difference. Like we smell, like I was saying to my husband, when I run the water, the normal water, I'm like, oh my God, I go, I can smell the chlorine in our water before I turn the machine on, like do the switch over. I'm like, it reeks, like it's bad. But then I turn on and it's like, it smells, there's no smell. It's clean, right? Like it's crazy. Like I can tell the difference. Like if I go to someone's house and they give me a glass of water, I can smell it. I can smell the chlorine, right? And it's like, I can't drink it.
Yeah, well, make sure in the future that you always take your chlorine drops with you. If you don't have chlorine drops, get some from a Nagic. And it goes with you when you go over to people's houses like that. Drop a few chlorine drops in, and
I know we have those.
Sit there and stick your finger in there while they're sitting there watching you. You're sitting at the table. Drop in some chlorine drops, stick your finger in it, and watch the chlorine go away, and it'll
absorb into your skin.
And, because it's pretty amazing what our bodies absorb and that kind of thing. Just interesting little tips to help turn people's brain cell on.
Yeah.
Exactly, because
Epiphany moments, right? Epiphany moments.
Yeah, it gets you thinking like, oh my God, like you don't realize it until someone shows you, right?
And can actually see it. Otherwise, it's all speculation and hearsay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you have full doubt of it because you do not believe anything unless your eyes are revealing.
Yeah, until you learn, water's just water. And the crazy conundrum for me, you guys, is that I sat there and said for 6 months, yeah, whatever, man, it's stupid. Water's water.
Me too, brother. Me too. Same thing.
Yeah. And what I didn't realize is how accurate I really was. That water is just water. H2O is just H2O. And it doesn't matter whether it's clean or whether it's dirty or whatever. It's still just H2O. Kong's water, however, is something different. It's H2 negative OH for about 48 hours or so after it comes out of the machine. So it's literally restructured. It's different. It's got electricity. It's got molecular hydrogen. After about 48 hours, it just turns back into regular plain old H2O again. And so I always tell people when I give them the water, I tell them, hey, if you're not going to drink this within 48 hours, then give it to your plants. Do not drink it. Why? Because it's going to give you a false, you're not going to get the results, and you're going to go, oh, see, I told you that stuff doesn't work. It's bull, it doesn't do anything for you. Well, it won't do anything for you if you don't drink it while it's in the state that it needs to be in. And that's why it's so important for people to have their own water machine. And when we share it, we want to let people know that they need to drink it. This water is designed to be drank fast. Like,
Yes.
It's not sipping water, it's guzzling water. And, some people, it's hard for them to guzzle it, but as they get more and more used to drinking it, it gets easier and easier and easier to guzzle. But, so you've had, I know for me, I didn't really notice any effects until a little bit down the road when my allergies had gone away. I didn't even notice it. My sweetie noticed it. And then I noticed that my heartburn, that I used to suffer from heartburn quite a bit, that was gone. And, energy levels and sleeping patterns, and my gums stopped bleeding when I floss, and that kind of thing. And just little subtle differences, because I really was pretty healthy to start with, but I've always been, ever since 1993, when I read the book World Without Cancer, I've been more proactive towards my health. And this was just another step in, as it turns out, this was the most important proactive step towards my health that I could ever possibly take. And so you guys have had the machine for about 6 months. Now you're jumping on board, Tim, and you're out there sharing the water with people. Are there any stories that you've been amazed by, things that friends, family, acquaintances, people that have tried the waters you've shared the water with, that they've had any kind of interesting experiences that you'd like to share with people?
We haven't really had it. My brother and his wife and kids come over, and I think a few times we made the baby his use the water, the 7.0, to make his formula and stuff. But and his wife always fills up her water bottle when she comes over. Right? She likes the water. She does. Right? They're just not quite there yet. They're like, we want to see where you guys go with it first. Is there kind of thought on it?
Well, and the fact that, we need to explain the benefits and the potential of the system, of
the water to them. And it's like I said,
efficiently, right?
Yes.
Show them the pH levels, show them the tests, and let them see, right? As far as for now, our fan base isn't the biggest, so as far as to promote and to sell it, is the best way for us would be to do it online, right?
On Facebook, because we have a very small circle of friends.
I'm a carpenter, and most of the friend base that I have are people of frequency that's
very
really
dark, and they're not really,
It's a dark industry. So.
Yeah, you come home and it takes all your energy to
rebuild the bubble,
to stay positive and to stay and not get into that dark spot. Because like I said, I was in construction for 13 years, right? So I know what he's talking about. People that are in that industry, I found, is they're not happy. There are a lot of them alcoholics, into drugs, that kind of stuff. And I was never part of that. I never really was big on the alcohol and the drugs or anything. But it took a lot of energy to stay positive and then come home and to just not push that negative onto, your kids or anything. You have to stay positive and just create a bubble around you when you're at, shield around you while you're at work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It takes a lot of energy to do that. So, so like friends and family, like my brother, he's in construction too. And he's like, we'll see what you do with this first and see, but they do enjoy the water. Like how can you not see a difference? Because the tap water is there's so much garbage in it even, so much garbage in that water and you can smell it.
In there, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once you become a Kong's water snob.
Yeah, exactly.
Like all of us are, we're snobs. I'm a total water snob now. That's no doubt about it. I can't touch any other kind of water. I don't have any desire to touch it. The only thing I have the desire to do with any other kind of water is test it. Put my ORP meter in it, put my drops in it, put the chlorine and the pH in it, and that's the only thing that I want anything to do with when it comes to other water. And I am most definitely a water snob, and I'm proud of it.
Yeah, me too. That's the only water. I bring it with me everywhere. And
so now I want to move into another interesting little thing that the answers to this question are always really interesting that we get. And it's this: you have somebody that's considering possibly getting involved with the Kong family. They're looking, they're curious, but they're not quite there or whatever. And you've got one opportunity to say one thing to them. What do you say?
With me, what I would say is, because as a family standpoint, as a mother with children, what kind of legacy do you want to leave behind for your children and for their children and for their children? Because this is something that you pass on to your kids, right? Yeah. That's what got me, because you pass this business on to your children, right? Yeah. I don't want to be a burden to my children, because coming from, my background a little bit is my mother is very severely mentally ill, and she has nothing she's left behind. She can't even get out of, she has a hard time getting out of bed. She's just lethargic. My brother and I have to take her to appointments and make sure she goes to them. She's not taking care of herself. Now, I don't want to, for whatever reason, like if God forbid, if I get sick or to the point where I can't speak for myself or do anything for myself, I don't want to be a burden on my children, right? I want to have things put in place, be able to put the things in place, be able to afford to put things in place that if something happened to me, it's taken care of. My children don't have to worry about that. So that's where it comes from. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind for your children?
Love it. That's a tremendous goal, and as a little side note for your mom, hopefully you can get her some Kong's water, get her to drink it, because if you can't.
I thought about it.
The thing about Kong's water that people don't understand is when you drink the water right out of the machine, it gets to your brain before it gets to your stomach. Literally, it gets to your brain, it goes up against gravity before it actually gets down into the old gullet, because the way that it's made and what it does, and it goes up and it lubricates and oxygenates and hydrates the brain. And the brain is the craziest part of our body, you guys, because not only is it other than your blood has the most water in it, but your brain has a tremendous amount of water in it. It's like 85% water. And yet it's the hardest part of the body to hydrate because of the blood-brain barrier. That barrier is so tiny that the regular water molecule can't get across it. Where with Kong's water, it goes to your brain so fast. That's why it helps people with headaches and with all kinds of other things like that. Like Gordon Horseman, his kid that was suffering from juvenile schizophrenia or whatever. When he first got his machine, that's gone. He's not suffering from any of that anymore at all. He's thinking clearly and all that kind of stuff, because it's amazing what this machine does when it gets what it needs. And, you know, so Tim, let's go to you, buddy. You've got one thing to say. What do you say?
Well, we're mainly made of water, so it'd be pertinent and smart to drink the best thing and the best water for your body that's made mainly of water, in order to create optimum health for yourself and create a better life for yourself in that respect.
Yeah. You know, that kind of goes to the whole fact that, you know, I love to tell people, and I tell people this all the time: what good is wealth without health?
Yeah, exactly.
Big fat zilch is what it is, because people will spend every single dime they have
to fight,
trying to recover their health once they lose it. And, you know, so my thought process has always been, well, not always, but ever since I read World Without Cancer, a book that I highly recommend, by the way, written by G. Edward Griffin. Tremendous book. It's a paradigm shifter in the first degree. I always tell people, read this book if you're brave enough, if you dare, because I promise you this book's going to rock your world if you read it. And I know it rocked mine. But, you know, you can have all the money in the world, but if the machine ain't working right, you're going to go and throw that money down the drain trying to get that machine working right again. And, you know, like Sam Tran says, the wisdom is in the simplicity, because it is such a simple thing that this is. It's just so crazy that it's hard for people to believe it, that it could be that simple to change your water, and that would change your life. People can't grasp it, but it is so dang true. And we see those results every single day here in the Kong family. And
water is so involved in our lives. It's everywhere. It's in everything, right? So why not have the best water, right? Because it's in everything. You shower in it, right? Your skin's absorbing whatever's in your water. Shower in it. You make your coffee, your tea with it, your soups. You wash your fruits and vegetables with it. You drink with it. Like, it's everywhere, right? So, I mean, why don't you, just have the best water? Simple.
Yes, exactly. And so moving on to another part of what we like to do here. This is actually one of my big goals with creating the Kong Family show and this whole format is I want to hook people up with each other. I want to help people network. I want people to be able to share their stories and get out here and talk, because the simple fact of the matter is it was a story that got me involved. It wasn't all the facts and figures and things like that, this and that and the other that my brother, my mentor, Tim McGaffin II, he was posting out all kinds of stuff for months, and I was just laughing at it and ignoring it and being, you know, knucklehead like I can be and saying, whatever, it's just stupid. And then one fateful day, that story came across. That story that I read that, and all of a sudden my brain cell said, click on that see more button. So I did. And boom, my life has changed forever. That was 2 years ago. And it's made the most drastic shift and positive change in my life that's going to continue on for the rest of my life. And so you never know who's going to resonate with who. You never know whose story is going to grab somebody, whose story is going to turn whose light on, and that kind of stuff. And people might listen to me and go, that dude, I think he's absolutely nuts. And they'd be correct. I am crazy. That's what it's saying. And
that's what makes you fun, right?
They might see you guys and go, man, I like the Calgary OFlanagan Flames, man. That's exactly who I want to work with. That might be another husband and wife team that are sitting here watching this down the road as it gets shared out, and they might go, man, I want to get a hold of Tina and Tim. I want to meet up with these people. I want to work with these people. I want to get involved with their business. I want to be part of these people's lives. I want people like this in my life. And so for those people, I want to give you the opportunity to reach out to those people right now and give them whatever contact information you would like to give them. You want to tell them about, you know, what are you doing to help build your business? How can they reach out to you? What websites do you have? How do they get a hold of you on Facebook? Do you want to give them your phone number? Whatever you would like to do as far as contact information and information that you have to offer to people that are looking at this and going, man, I would love to work with these people. I wonder what they're doing.
Yeah, so I mean, we each have our own fan pages. Like Tim has his own and I have my own. We can be messaged on there anytime. I'm actually pretty good at responding because I, you know, link to my phone. So it's just our name's Tina O'Flanagan, and then his is Timothy O'Flanagan. I know there's that if you're looking for somebody or wanting to contact them, it's like mine's at the Tina O'Flanagan for Facebook. What's your?
I've got a domain at timoflanagan.com.
Yeah.
You can just search that; it'll go straight to my fan page.
Yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, my it goes right to my fan page as well. Yeah, TinaO'Flanagan.com. It takes you right down, right over to my fan page, and you can leave a message. And we would love to hear from you for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You know, we're a big family of people that are just working on a common goal of changing the world, and it's happening. It's happening one family, one person, one glass of 9.5 at a time. And, you know, so it's exciting being part of such an organization. I know for me, it's been by far and away the most rewarding thing that I've ever done in my life. And not just from a monetary standpoint. There's literally nothing more powerful in this world than having somebody call you up and thank you for changing their life for the better, for introducing them to something that helped them shift their life. And so that's been a big time driving force for me with what I'm trying to do here, which is get stories, get people, help people hook up with each other and find the people that they want to work with and you know, do business with and associate with. And so with that, I would like to give you guys one last opportunity here. We've been going now for about 40 minutes, and I'm sure you guys have an exciting day of Sunday play or whatever to do today. And you know, hopefully it's a beautiful day like it is down here. It's nice for you guys up there, and but
getting there, yeah.
I would just like to give you an opportunity to, you know, do you have any last thing that you would like to, you know, encourage people to do, encourage people to think, encourage people to dig into, or anything like that? You know, like a final hurrah message that that you think might resonate with people out there and maybe possibly change somebody's life.
Well, for me, it's, you know, keep an open mind. I think it's very important. Don't doubt right away. And for me, like something that always, that I always keep in the back of my mind is always be kind to each other, be kind to others, because honestly, you don't know what that person is going through in their life at that time. Always be kind. And always be grateful for what you have every day.
So for every struggle, it's just another lesson to be learned to take forward, to grow and to be a greater individual for everyone to see and to maybe grow from as well.
Wow, isn't that the truth? You know, failure is just the opportunity to learn. Failure's not failure. It's a learning experience. It's an opportunity to grow. How can you grow if you don't get out there and fail? And so that's a tremendous message that that has really been driven home for me by getting involved with this incredible family of positive people. And so it's definitely been an incredible life changer for me, and I'm so looking forward to continuing on and helping people change lives. And you know, everybody that comes on the show at the end, I always let them know that, hey, as time goes by, things are going to come up. Interesting things are going to happen. Experiences are going to take place. And anytime, you know, if you feel like, hey, this is something we really should try to share with the Kong family, we should get a hold of that crazy rascal Jay and tell him, hey, we want to come back on the show again. We got something we got to share.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to.
Yeah, we're doing this 7 days a week, and my goal is to do it 365. You know, and eventually it's going to be that way, that regardless of where I am, regardless of what's going on, I'm going to be able to get in here and get on the show and have guests in and be sharing stories. And you know, so that is something that's really dear to my heart. And so anytime you guys want to come back and share something, you have somebody that's part of your group that you think they might be interested, you know, have them hook up with me, and we'll get them on too.
Do like a 6-month update or something.
Yeah, for sure.
See where we're at in 6 months. See what progress, if any, or what's going on, what struggles, what failures, what wins, what have you.
Exactly.
That'd be great. We'd love to come back on for sure, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. And so you guys just, you know, let me know if you want to come back on at any time. And, you know, if just something comes up and it's like, hey, this needs to get out there.
Yeah, that too, for sure.
We're here to help share it. You know, this is going on to YouTube. We're going to, as soon as it's all downloaded and everything, I'm going to get it out to you and share it out, and you can do the exact same. And let's get this fantastic information out to as many people as possible, because we just never know whose life we're going to change. And so once again, you guys, thank you so much for taking time, for jumping out of your comfort zone a little bit and coming on.
For sure.
Now you notice that it's really not that big of a deal. You know, I'm crazy enough for both of us, for all three of us. And so I hope if I can be silly enough that makes it a little easier for my guests when they come on, because I know there's been quite a few that have been a little bit scared to come on, but by the time it's all said and done, they're going, that wasn't so bad. You know, that was actually kind of fun. And that's what we want to do. We want to have fun, because if you're not having fun doing what you're doing, then you're doing something wrong. And so thank you so much for coming on and having some smiles with me and sharing your magic, sharing your great story, because it really is a tremendous story. Because so often people, you know, the husband gets involved without the wife, and it creates conflict, or vice versa. The wife gets involved without the husband, and it creates conflict. And so I think your story is quite inspiring, in the fact that even though one of you made the decision, that it didn't cause conflict. And you know, what were you trying to say there with your signaling back there in the back, Tim? Let's hear it.
Patience and Musa.
Yeah, patience. Yeah.
That's
We all. We generally trust each other.
I have faith in my wife.
Right?
We got a bit of a mind meld going.
Yeah.
She reads my mind, and
All
like,
the
I think it's
time.
something she says it before I even say it. It's pretty dope.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
So,
A true match made in heaven. I love it.
so. Yeah.
Well, that's so great, you guys. Thank you so much once again for jumping on the show with us. And I hope you have the rest of a blessed weekend and a great time. And, you know, God bless you and yours, and you know, healthy regards. And of course, you know, here in the Kong family, we just have a real simple goal, right? We just want to change the world.
Yeah.
That's right.
And
The world.
We're doing it.
Exactly.
Bit by bit.
So,
Yes.
Get it done.
amen. That's where it all starts, kids. That's what we're doing. We're changing the world. And so do not forget your hug. Thank you guys so much, and have yourself
thanks.
awesome
Thanks, Jay.
rest of the weekend.
Yeah,
You
you
too,
too.
buddy.
Thanks for having us
Thanks,
on.
sir.
Thank you.
See you again.
Welcome, you guys. Love you.
Love you too.
Bye.
Peace.
Much love.